with my true love, she won't go. I will surely find another to pull wild mountain thyme from around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme from around the purple heather. Will you go, lassie, go? Will you go, lassie, go? Will you go, lassie, go?
Well, that was our prelude, and now we'd like to open with something kind of energetic. So if you don't mind standing, you're free to sit if you like, but if you don't mind standing, this is going to involve a little clapping as well.
Excuse me, we're waiting for a signal from Bill. Are we good?
We are getting that signal. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Woo!
Wonderful way to get the service going. Thank you, Laura and Anton. So Anton Miserek and Lori Berryhill. I called him Anton Fisher one time. And you know where I got it from? Atlas of the Heart, Brene Brown. He's a counselor and an advisor and a very wise being. So maybe, I felt the connection there.
Some of that wisdom will wear off.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the beautiful Unity Center for the Centers for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley service this morning. I am Rev Michelle Arellano. I am the co-spiritual director here, and I am so incredibly honored to be with each of you today. Excited to be in person. That has not worn off. That has not worn off at all. And it's great to see all of your faces. I want to thank the setup crew for being here bright and early and really preparing the service for us, for our High Watch practitioner and ministerial student, Wendy Wellborn, who also led a beautiful meditation. Thank you, Wendy. And to our amazing practitioner of the day, ministerial student, Laura Stewart. And thanks for praying us in and for being here in your presence. So we have a wonderful service planned for you today. Centers for Spiritual Living is a New Thought teaching, and it embraces ancient wisdom. We believe in all paths to God, and we believe we create our reality. We are little individual expressions of the divine, and we are big, beautiful, infinite beings. And I am so grateful that you're here with us. No matter where you are on your path, you are welcome here. So welcome. Turn it back over to our amazing musicians.
If you want to sing in your hearts with this or sing a little bit out loud, you're welcome to this gratitude song. I love you.
I bless you. Thank you for being in the world. I love you. I bless you. Thank you for being in the world. I love you. I bless you. Thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world. I love you, I bless you, thank you for being in the world.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. I would just like to remind everyone, if you haven't done so already, would you please turn off your cell phones, or at a minimum, put them into airplane mode? It would be greatly appreciated. So I invite you all to just take a deep breath. I know that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect, and that life is our life now. It is moving through, in, and as each and every person in this room. It is expressing as the world around us. It is everything, and yet it is uniquely individualized. It is showing up in our musicians. It is showing up in our community, in Reverend Michelle's message, in our congregation. And it is magnificent. For this and so much more, I'm incredibly grateful, and I celebrate this today. So I simply release this into the spirit of love and the action of the law, knowing it is done, it is blessed, it is magnificent. And would you please help me to anchor this by declaring and affirming, and so it is. So the reading that I chose today is from The Science of Mind, page 323. And I would like to preface this a little bit, just reminding everyone that this was written about 90 years ago. So the language that's used may come across as a little, just a little different than how we would want to show it right now. There's a lot of he and him. But the beauty is, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Ernest Holmes truly meant we and us and all. I know that this book was written from a fully inclusive place, from love, from unity, wholeness, and oneness. All is love, and yet all is law. Love is the impelling force, and law executes the will of love. Man is a center of God consciousness in the great whole. He cannot deface his real being, but may hinder the whole from coming into a complete expression through his life. Turning to the one with complete abandonment and in absolute trust, he will find that he is already saved, healed, and prospered. There is one infinite mind from which all things come. This mind is in, through, and around all men. It is the only mind there is, and every time man thinks, he uses it. There is one infinite spirit, and every time man says, I am, he proclaims it. There is one infinite substance, and every time man moves, he moves in it. There is one infinite law, and every time man thinks, he sets this law in motion. Know that. There is one infinite God, and every time man speaks to this God, he receives a direct answer. We are one, one, one. I am God, and there is nothing else. There is one limitless life, which returns to the thinker exactly what he thinks into it. One, one, one. In all, over all, and through all. Talk, live, act, believe, and know that you are a center in this oneness. All the power there is, all the presence there is, all the love there is, all the peace there is, all the good there is. And the only God there is omnipresent, right here, right now, in its oneness, its allness, and its wholeness. I invite you all to live from this place of oneness. Live from this truth of who and what we all are. Treat yourself and everyone else accordingly. Thank you.
This is a song that is getting its debut today. It's a song I wrote more than 10 years ago, and we just arranged it for all of you. I call you friend. should you call out in your need, my heart is here for you. We live the spiral journey through adventure and delight. As we dance within the perfect harmonies of the infinite starry night, of the infinite starry night. I call you friend. I call you friend, and learn love's way with you. We grow into our destiny. We grow into our destiny, and time will keep us true. The past can be compelling, and the future is so bright. We grow into compassion and reveal our hearts of light, and reveal our hearts of light, and reveal our hearts of light.
That was beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Fits right into Palm Sunday. Happy Palm Sunday, everybody. We go into the Holy Week, as the Christians believe, and we know that our teaching is built on great teachers, and Jesus Christ is one of the great teachers. The Christ consciousness within each of us that we connect in such a beautiful way. So today, I am going to talk about loving boundaries, and I am going to tie it into spiritual practices. I feel like as we move out into this world, we are humans in this human world and interacting as human, and we all have kind of our different perceptions and backgrounds and histories, and then there's all kinds of things going on in our life and in the world and our communities and our country, and we are these divine spiritual beings that are perfect, whole, and complete, like what Laura was talking about from the Science of Mind textbook. And we are the infinite. We are the cosmos. We are the Christ consciousness in action and expressed. So we hold both spaces. And in holding both spaces, it makes for an interesting adventure in this life sometimes. It really, really does, because as we connect to that innerness within us and we take it out into the world and we interact with others, different tools of ways for us to be our authentic selves and to express ourselves, I believe, are so important. I like to call that like my spiritual tool belt or my spiritual toolbox. Sometimes it's a good sized toolbox that I carry that helps me bring that inner love and connection and peace out into my daily life. That's one thing that I very much appreciate about Brene Brown's work. This is the last month that we'll be talking about Brene, but Brene gives us amazing tools for our spiritual tool belt. And one of those tools is boundaries, loving boundaries. That's one of my favorite tools. Like I sometimes talk about channeling my Brene Brown when I'm out in the world and being loving to myself. So I can say yes to what's speaking to my soul, and I can say no to what's speaking to my soul. I love what author Anne Lamott says about no. She says it's a complete sentence. and that's even hard for me, coming as a recovering people pleaser, that no is a complete sentence, and so that sometimes that no is just as powerful as that yes. So last week, Rev Kimberly did an amazing talk on being our authentic selves. And before that, I talked about belonging versus fitting in. Belonging is being our authentic selves and showing up and being accepted for that. And being in that place of being our authentic selves is letting ourselves individually express, because we are a unique footprint, a unique fingerprint that nobody else is in this world. And what the world is calling for us to do is to be that unique expression of the divine, that only we can bring it in our unique way. Each individual person is special and unique. And to be able to live, so going fast forward through those two talks to today, being able to live in that space of authenticity to express ourselves, loving boundaries are so important. And a quote that Brene used in Atlas of the Heart, boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. And that's from Prentice Hemphill. Boundaries are a prerequisite for compassion and empathy. We can't connect with someone unless we're clear about where we end and they begin. If there's no autonomy between people, there's no compassion or empathy, just enmeshment. And that's Brene Brown. And I think sometimes when we lose, and Brene talks about this, when we lose our sense of boundaries, or we're so focused on pleasing other people, we lose ourselves. We don't have the connection, the belonging, or the authenticity that we want to show up in. And so, to me, that's what makes this so important to talk about. And Brene talks in the book about how, like, it's been, I think she said soul shaking or something, as using loving boundaries in her like work life as well, because so many times when things don't work between people is there's a lack of boundaries or a lack of clarity, or there is miscommunication. And so being able to be clear is so important to working together to move forward. So I know in our book study, we talked about this last week, and it was great, because I feel like when we were talking about it, it's so important to be able to reflect on it and to see where we're at in our lives with it. And for somebody, like I mentioned, that grew up with pleasing, and I didn't grow up with healthy boundaries expressed to me. And so I didn't learn them until I was an adult. So I was so focused on taking care of everybody else and I forgot to take care of myself. Or I was so focused on taking care of everybody else, like I felt like I was a little superhero to save the day and that I could save people, and that's God's job. I can be kind and I can assist in this life, but I am definitely not the savior. And so I've learned a lot as I've grown about how to set healthy boundaries for myself that's loving and compassionate for myself, and how to set healthy boundaries that's within my family, my friends, my community, my work life, my ministry. And now that I've expanded my life, I'm expanding my depth of what boundaries look like. And as Brene was mentioning, it is like that spiritual muscle, like all these different things that we work on in our lives as we show up and change shows up and we grow and we expand and we have this higher consciousness and elevate our energy. Like everything again is a little bit new. It's got a little bit new of an energy and a little bit new of a color and a light. And in this journey, I believe we're here to continue to grow. It's a journey, and it has its ups and downs, but everything serves our soul purpose and our authentic expressions of ourselves, and we allow it to. So as I went on this journey with boundaries, it was really a whole new, it was about 20 years ago, it was a whole new way of moving through life for me. And I started with the barriers. So the boundaries that I was doing were walls. And so I started putting walls. And as I was doing that, I was boxing myself in and not really understanding loving boundaries, which was a whole nother step for me that I've had to learn. And in finding Al-Anon, it was really such an incredible place for me to be safe, to learn about myself, to find my higher power of my understanding, and to learn these tools to show up in life so I can express my authentic self with compassion and take care of myself as much as I want to help take care of others. So as I've been tackling it in my life, I know that when my sister was living with me and I first was trying this out, she was not happy about my boundaries. She thought I was being mean and unkind. She wasn't used to it. And now we have beautiful conversations around it. And then I think about my sons, my boys on this boundary journey and how much I've learned from them. So my son Ryan is amazing, fiercely independent young man. He's 30 years old and he actually 31 now, and he moves to his own beat. And I always have ideas about how I could help with that. I'm a mom. And so we have worked together and keeping our relationship close with me saying, can I just express it? You don't have to follow it if I just say it. And so we found this place with his boundaries and my boundaries. And so I'll say, oh, Ryan, you might want to try this or that. He'll be like, interesting, Mom. I see your point, but that's not what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going. And we have that conversation quite often. But it feels so good just to let me express and let him be him. Let him, do Ryan. And he's amazing just as he is. And then my older son, Michael, who is very thoughtful. I shared about him last time I spoke. And both of them are just the light of my life. I just love them so much. So Michael just set a good boundary with me this week. Of course, when you're writing the talk, you get an expression of that talk in your life. And so my son sets this really strong boundary with me. We're going on a trip to Costa Rica in September, and it's a mom-son's trip. And Ryan usually waits till the last minute to get his passport done and his plane ticket. And so as a mom, and being Michelle, I was like, come on, Ryan, get your passport, get your ticket. And so I'm talking to Michael. hey, can you help me get Ryan to get his passport and get his ticket and get him going? And usually Michael will say, sure, Mom. And Michael's working on himself right now. And he said, Mom? I go, yes. And I knew it was serious when he said Mom like that. He said, I just want to say this to you. I feel like when you ask me to do that and I do that, I'm acting more like the parent. Makes me emotional to think about. And then he said, I want to be the brother and not the parent. And so I'm walking going, wow, he just said that to me and he's not going to help me. And I'm doing boundaries this week and this is hard. And it is hard. Boundaries are hard. And so I just breathed into it as I'm walking in the park and I'm like, you know, I respect and appreciate that. And sometimes when I want to like process with Michael, it's really important to me because he gets it. You know, they grew up together. They're 14 months apart. They're really close. So I said, okay, I'm going to honor that boundary for you, but can I still process with you? But you don't have to do anything. And he said, yes, Mom, I'll always be there for you. So that was a way, I mean, it seems simple, but it was this journey to get to that healthy boundary where I could honor where he's at and where I could honor still what I was feeling inside. Because then I also have the tendency to set too strong of a boundary or to let go of all my boundaries and just make sure everybody else is okay. So I'm really working to stay centered and balanced in that. So Brene says, daring to set boundaries is about having courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Even when we risk disappointing others. That's good. That's really good. And then another one, this one's a little more kind of in the face. If you want to live an authentic, meaningful life, you need to master the art of disappointing and upsetting others. That's really hard for me. Hurting feelings and living with the reality that some people just won't like you. Is that hard? That's hard. I like people to like me. It may not be easy, but it's essential if you want your life to reflect your deepest desires, values, and needs, and to live your authentic life. And that's Cheryl Richardson from The Art of Extreme Self-Care. And as I've continued to embrace this self-care and self-love, and sometimes I do better at it than other times, sometimes I do better at boundaries than I do other times. It's a journey, and we're not perfect. And that is a part of life. You know, again, we are divine, infinite, unconditional love, unconditional grace. We are the cosmos in action. We are divine spiritual beings. We are the Christ consciousness. And we are living this human experience, and it's a journey. It's a journey. It has its ups and downs. A way that I like to think about that, and I talk about, like, we're alive, right? And when we're alive, we're going to have ups and downs. If it flatlines and we don't have any, that means our journey's done. So it's always kind of an image for me as life might get a little bit bumpy. And I don't think that we have to have extreme ups and downs to learn and grow. But I think even sometimes the littlest things are hard when we have our hearts open and we want to live in a place of compassion. Another quote from Brene is, when we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. This is why we sometimes attack who they are, which is far more hurtful than addressing a behavior or a choice. And that comes back to that word compassion and how important compassion is. So this brings me to another one of my favorite teachers is Buddhist nun Pema Chodron. And she talks about boundaries in such a beautiful way. The most boundaried people are the most compassionate. The idea of setting good boundaries is to provide clarity, communication, and it takes a lot of bravery to do it. You know, it's like this open, authentic, vulnerable self and putting ourselves out there with an open heart is so tender. It is so tender as we do that. And as we do that from a tender place and we love ourselves and we allow ourselves to love others and we hold that space and set a boundary, it is very tender, and it does take courage and it does take bravery. And another thing that I love about Pema is that she talks about life in such a forgiving way that, you know, as we journey through life, it sometimes like we're aligned and we're cruising and we're feeling connected to spirit and ourselves and our souls, and it's just, it flows. And then there's other times it's rocky and wavy and bumpy and we're in an eddy and we get a little stuck and then we take off again, but that's just life. And as we move in this life, it is so important for us to celebrate our successes. Part of our culture is so easy for us to always think about all the things that we still need to do, but we don't take time to think about how far we've come. Our Revealing Wholeness class had a reunion this past week, and we were all going to write like this in-depth prescription of our well-beingness and what resources we're going to use. And it just, none of us did it. It was just so much. We had grand ideas. But when we really shared with each other about the changes that we've made since the class to take better care of ourselves, we had all done quite a bit. But we never took the time to think about it and to realize it. And I believe that Pema is really good at that, in the sense of really celebrating ourselves and being kind to ourselves if we fall back or we trip or, you know, we move out of a space. That it's just that self-compassion is so incredibly important for ourselves, to be compassionate to others in life, and for us to live from our hearts and our soul. So Pema wrote something, she did an interview in regards to the difference between barriers and boundaries. And she says, I feel that setting boundaries, good boundaries, the intention of that is to allow for communication to happen, and barriers are shutting down communication. And it's those walls again. Many of us confuse clear boundaries with setting up barriers, which is saying, this is what I believe, so leave me alone. I've been in that place before. The position is closed to new information, new perspectives, or to the natural flow of change. It feels safe because it protects the ego from having to risk exposure to a different way of being. There's that soft vulnerability again. But if we truly entered into what we know and believe, we do not feel threatened by alternative views. We may even be open to hearing what others think, with the stance that maybe there is something to learn. I have found myself setting up barriers in some parts of my life, and I have struggled with others who confuse barriers for clear boundaries. While I try to maintain an open mind, there are still things my ego doesn't want to hear. And this is why I meditate, so that I can see those moments when my ego is feeling threatened while they are happening, instead of allowing myself to get defensive and fall into barrier creation. And so that reminds me of a lot of what Thich Nhat Hanh and Pema teaches in the Buddhist teaching, is when there's something going on, to just sit in the middle of it. That's meditation. You know, if I'm finding that I'm in a conflict with somebody, is there something I'm not being clear about? Is there a boundary that maybe I need to set, or there's a boundary they have set that maybe I haven't been listening to? And sitting in the middle of what's going on through meditation and through our spiritual practices allows us to show up in life, I believe, allows me to show up in life with an open heart. And as I was thinking about this, driving home from Dunsmuir yesterday, I was thinking about how important it is right now for us to come together in community, for us to to be able to be with each other through these challenging times and to connect and to lean on each other and to raise the consciousness. I have a dear friend who is a Kirtan rock band star and Kundalini teacher and spiritual being, and she calls it a weevolution, that it's going to take all of us together as we wake up, that tipping point of waking up to higher consciousness of who we are. And the great late Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Tibetan monk, he's still here, he's still with us, and one of the greats that wrote the book Mindfulness, which is probably one of my favorite books. And a quote from him is, "The next Buddha will not take the form of a person. The next Buddha will rather take the shape of a community. A community that practices understanding and loving kindness. A community that practices a way of conscious living. This may be the most important thing for Earth's survival." Thich Nhat Hanh. And so I bring it all with the weevolution in the sense that these spiritual tools help us connect and be with each other, and help us collaborate and be with each other, help us raise the vibration together. When one or more gather in my name, you know, the power of that, the power of being here together today, the power of being together and supporting each other and raising the vibration, you know, because what the world is calling for right now is for us to wake up, individually and collectively. And as we wake up, that's the beneficial energy, presence that we bring into the world, and that is our unique, authentic selves, which makes all of us so incredibly special. So incredibly special, each and every single one of us, no matter what we bring into the world. If we are following that, and we are aligned with our authentic selves and what we came here to do, our unique footprint, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. And so I, am grateful that I'm here with you, and I'm grateful that I got to talk about loving boundaries in the sense of how it is a spiritual practice for us. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. I love that when it all kind of falls into place and I'm like, yay, I get to do boundaries. Because I learn every time. I'm learning too. I'm learning with you. And that is another thing that I wanted to bring in today is we are all walking each other home. And I say that's Ram Dass. And we are truly, I see us like locked arm in arm. We are walking each other home as we are finding our way in this world as spiritual beings. So with that, I am going to move into prayer, and I appreciate each of you. Namaste. So as we take a deep collective breath, knowing that God, Mother, Father, God, is in, through, and around each of us, that we are perfect spiritual beings in this amazing human experience, and knowing that our spiritual tool belts are locked and ready to go as any tools that we need to utilize as we're maneuvering ourselves in this world with an open heart, with self-expression, kindness, authenticity, loving boundaries, belonging, and knowingness that each one of us is so incredibly special. Infinite light and love and oneness and wholeness and completeness and divinity. That we are truly walking each other home. We are a revolution. We are individuals, expressions of divine, and collectively we are one. We are a beautiful, beautiful one. Unconditional love and understanding and connection and belongingness. With this, I give great, great, great thanks for this love, for this beingness. And as we allow ourselves to fill ourselves with love and connection, we share that with the world. And we send love to all those places that are needing it right now. Sending love to the Ukraine and all those that are hurting, just sending so much love and kindness and healing and grace. And knowing that this is good, I give thanks. I know that the grace of God is with each one of us as we walk in our authentic selves. I release this into the universal law, knowing that it is whole, true, and complete. And together we say, and so it is, and so it is. So I'm going to hand it back over to the musicians. Oh, thank you, Laura.
What a beautiful talk. We're going to follow that with a song that we wrote for Palm Sunday. But I think it echoes the message. You are the conscience. You are the kindness. You are responsible for thought and deed. You are the connector. You are the protector of all that's good in this world. Hosanna. Hosanna. Hesitate to ride into the city of my dreams, illuminated, praying in the garden. It is clear that the fear is just a shadow, and the power of our lives comes together in God's eyes. If you could see as I see, you are my eyes in this world. If you could do as I do, you are my hands in this world. If you could feel as I feel, you are my heart in this world. If you could dream as I dream, you are my hope in this world. Hosanna. Hosanna. My life to serve a better world. The path of peace before me. My life to hold an eternity of vision, creation's embrace. If you could see as I see, you are my eyes in this world. If you could do as I do, you are my hands in this world. If you could feel as I feel, you are my heart in this world. If you could dream as I dream, you are my hope in this world. Hosanna. Hosanna. Hosanna.
That was beautiful. Oops, what's going on with the sound? Are we good? Good? Okay. I was so into the song, I forgot I had to come back up, so I was like, oh, better. Wake up, Michelle. It's beautiful. Thank you. Very beautiful. Anton Nisarek and Lori Berryhill. Let's give them another hand. Yay. So sweet. And it takes a village. The music really sets the stage for the service and just brings in such beautiful energy, and then the reading and the prayer and the meditation and the setup team. It's what makes this so special. Okay, so now is the time for our offering. And please give from your heart, whatever you're comfortable with. We have our ushers here that are going to pass around a basket. We also have a way to give online at cslroguevalley.org under the donate button or Facebook. And please repeat the affirmation with me. Graciously I give from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive. And they'll be passing the baskets around. A little noodling. Thank you. Wonderful, thank you. That harmonica just takes you somewhere else, doesn't it? That's beautiful, thank you. Okay, so announcements. We do have our big community meeting today, Learning and Healing Service from 1 to 4:30. And if you've signed up, please make sure that you have your packets. If you weren't able to print your packet, our amazing administrator, Vivian, has some extra copies, so please see her after the service. If you haven't signed up and you would still like to be a part of this, please let us know. We are going to have a group meet here that is not necessarily comfortable meeting on Zoom, and our amazing board member, Kathy Green, is going to help facilitate that. So again, that is from 1 to 4:30, and the Zoom will be at the Bosworth Hall. We are looking for volunteers right now, Sunday ushers, and also Sunday broadcast team. So please see Vivian if you're interested in volunteering to be an usher, and please see Bill Miner if you'd like to help out with this amazing Sunday team. They just are even just fun to hang out with. They're such great people, and they do so much for us. Sign up for the newsletter in the social hall or on Facebook under email, or email us at cslroguevalley@gmail.com. The CSL prayer box is in the back of the sanctuary for our practitioners. Our practitioners and ministers will pray for you all week long. You can also submit a prayer request on our website. We have an announcement now, and I just want to say how much we are appreciating our partnership with Unity and working with the board and community members. The activities have enhanced. The energy has been wonderful. We got people coming to Tai Chi and art classes, and it's such a beautiful space. And so it's a true honor to be in that partnership. And Jean Hanna, who is the president of the board, she's going to come up and make an announcement in regards to art and spirit. And I believe she has another announcement as well. Jean, sure.
Hi, everybody. So good to see you, and I love what we're doing here. It's just so exciting, and I hope you all do too. Art, for me and for many, is the link between our physical selves and our spiritual selves. And it is such a journey, it's been a journey in my life, to look at art and spirit together. And so music, poetry, dance, trance, art making puts us in the realm where we begin to experience the vibration of spirit. And that's why I like it so much and feel that it's a core, of an important core of any spiritual development. And a lot of us are shut down in this area because we've been told we're not creative. We are all creators, and we co-create, and we all have it. So 3 activities. One, we're doing the joy of collage. There's no special talent. We cut, paste, and we chat. Okay, cut, paste, and chat, 1 o'clock on Tuesdays. That's after you've done your Tai Chi, and hopefully you've come to prayer and meditation before that, so you're really ready to just relax into the cut and paste. Okay, and chat. We've had some wonderful conversations. You're laughing because you know. And the other thing is we're doing Basics of Songwriting coming up here in April 21st. That's a Thursday evening. And this is with our musician, Julie Wright. And she's raising her hand right back there. Put your hand up there again. She's got some compromised knees, or else she'd be up here talking about it. She is a beautiful songwriter. We've heard these beautiful songs this morning. Julie has this gift, and she's willing to share it. And she's not charging anything for the first time. Again, she's hoping to build a group of us that want to explore that avenue of songwriting. And then next Saturday, unless you're hunting Easter eggs, I would suggest that you come to this, is April 16th, 11 a.m., is the Art and Spirit. And I'm hoping to form a group around this, but we're making a journey stick. That's a journey stick. And it expresses our life journey. And again, it's going to be using color and paint and beads and whatever else. And then we use our sacred symbols on it as well. So that it not only expresses our journey, but becomes a tool in our healing. So it's a physical expression of our spirit. So I hope that you will check that out. There's a flyer right there on the table. $20. I provide all the materials. If you have a favorite stick, and I know some of you probably do, and you would like to paint it, this is an opportunity. I will also have sticks. Okay, so 3 things, okay? All right, thanks so much.
Thank you, Jane. They all sound wonderful. The arts and music, such a creative expression of spirit. Oof, good stuff. Okay, so we have Jackie's Jewelry Table, which is located in the back room. And that is a fundraiser for CSL. And we'll have it today and each second Sunday on after service. We invite you to stay for coffee and snacks in the Bosworth Hall right after service. A big thank you to Greg Stewart, and I'm sure Laura's helped in setting up the coffee and getting everything ready for that room. Thank you so much. And I would now like to invite our practitioners up front with me for the closing song, and to let everybody know that practitioners are available for prayer after service. And so if you'd like to connect with one of them, you'll be able to see all of us up here. And if you're not, and you'd just like to have some coffee, if you wouldn't mind going into the social hall so we can keep the sanctuary open for prayer. Thank you so much. And I just am going to say a quick closing in the sense of that it is all God, that it is all good, that it is all right now, and we are each one with the great oneness, love, light, harmony, and peace. And so it is. And hand it over to Anton and Laura.
We're going to close with a song by a friend of mine, Donna Michaels.
And if you'd like to stand, we can all sing together.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. We shine, we shine, we shine, we shine.
Woo!